Thank you for joining me for Directions for Life, live on Facebook and Periscope, Everyday Living. Topic today is regarding shifting your mindset. So are you tired of the same old thing, the same old results? Tired of the same old thing and the same old results? We're talking about shifting our mindset. Hello, Melissa. How we look things, the way we view things, and also our mental attitudes. So it's very important that we change our words to change our mindset. So if you have a fixed mindset, which means that you refuse to think differently, you refuse to do things differently, you just pretty much do the same thing over and over and over again. We need to learn how to grow and how to expand our mindset, and so that way we can increase more knowledge to fulfill our capacity. So as we begin to read, as we begin to watch videos, do different things, our mindset will grow. Some things that we are known for saying is, I don't understand. So instead of saying I don't understand, let's say, what am I missing? We also make comments, I give up. So instead of saying I give up, I'll use some strategies to learn something that I have done before, or some things I need to do. And what about I made a mistake? Mistakes help us improve. So what did you learn from your mistake? And I know sometimes we say this is too hard. And so instead of saying this is too hard, let's take out some time to see what can we do. Let's make an effort to try to do this, try to do it. And so let's talk about this mind. And in Proverbs 4:23 it says, more than anything, guard, protect your life is going to flow through it as well. The TLB version said, above all else, guard your affections, for they influence everything else in your life. So if you want to change the way you view things, the way you do things, we're going to have to add things to our mind, but it must be things that's positive, and most importantly, it needs to be the Word of God, because the Word of God is what's going to develop our mindset. The Word of God is what's going to grow our mindset, and as well as other things we need to add to it. The Message translation says, keep vigilant, watch over your heart. That's where life starts. Don't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Avoid careless white lies and gossip. Keep your eyes straight forward ahead. Ignore all sideshow distractions, because distractions get us off focus. Watch your step, and the road will stretch smooth before you. Look neither to the right or to the left. Okay, so we have things that we have to do to protect our mind. And so today we're talking about this mind shift. It's very important that we shift the way we think. It's very important we shift the way we do things, especially if we're still doing things the old way and we're coming up with the same old results. Isaiah 26:3 tell us, thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. So God will keep us in perfect peace, in perfect calmness, perfect serenity, if our mind is on him. But we also must trust him. This is the part of the story I want to talk about. I want to talk about David and his conversation with Goliath. David's mindset had to be changed, because there's no way you can go. He was on his way to check on his brothers, and as he was going to check on his brothers, he was taking them. Little did Goliath know that David has always been the shepherd. He always kept the bears. He kept the lion. He fought. He was a shepherd, so he kept the sheep and the lambs. But he had to fight off the bears. He had to fight off the lions. So he was a fighter by nature. But Goliath didn't know that. So in your situation today, even though it might seem big, but you're a child of God, and your mindset has been shifted so that you can think differently and you can come up with a strategy to fight your battle. But you're going to have a change in your mindset to fight this battle. And so David responded back to him, you come to me with a sword and two spears, but I come to you in the name of the Lord powerful. The God of the armies of Israel. And so that's why I said we have to have a mindset. We have to have our mind shifted, and it has to be changed, because we have to know deep down within that God is going to fight our battles for us. We have to know who God is in our life. And as we begin to grow in God, as we begin to grow as leaders, as God's people, in who He called us to be, as we begin to learn our purpose, our vision, our identity, there is nothing that can stop you. There is nothing that can get in your way. You are unstoppable. And this is what happened in this story with David. David became unstoppable. There was nothing that can get in his way. He was out there with all the people who was in the military. Everybody in the military was afraid to fight Goliath. But because David had a shift in his mindset, he was able to fight off someone who was mocking the church, who was mocking these people. And so David continued to tell him, today I'll feed you, the Philistine soldier, to the birds of the air and the wild animals. And did you know that's exactly what David did? David was able to kill Goliath with a stone, okay? And then he turned around and cut off his neck. That's the reason why I'm talking about a shift in your mindset. So regardless of what you see, regardless of how big the situation might look, you are strong, you are mighty, because we have the power to speak, we have the power to do, we have the power to act beyond our capacity. But we have to change our mindset to prepare for battle. We have to change our mindset when we're looking at our situation, because the battle belongs to God. And so we have to know that there's a God, and that God has angels behind us to support us. So if you truly want to change your life, you must first be willing to change your mind. It said a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You can't go anywhere until you change it. And I don't know if you ever been on the side of the road with a flat tire before, but that's the same thing with our mindset. If we don't shift our mindset to think more like Christ, to know who we are, we're not going to be able to move. We're not going to be able to go nowhere. I remember being the age of 18. I was picking up my little brother from school. It was my graduation day, and I was going to pick up my brother. I had a car wreck on the freeway, and the car spun around 3 times, and I was trying to get back in the car so I can drive, but come and find out I couldn't drive because I broke the axle in the back of the car. And so the tire was up in the air and one was on the ground, so it was impossible for me to continue on. So we had to wait till someone come tow the car. So what I'm trying to tell you today, you have to change your mindset. You have to change the way you're living. You have to change the way you're thinking in order to move forward. So if you plan to move forward, you must change your thoughts to change your world. You have to change your thoughts to change your world. So there's going to be 7 things you have to give up. So there are some things we have to give up to experience this joy. One thing we have to give up in order to change our mindset is going to be complaining. We also have to give up blaming others. We also have to give up, number 3, negative self-talk. We must give up dwelling in the past. We must give up resistance, trying to fight change. A lot of us, we don't like change. We have to be open for change. Number 6, we need to change the thought process of needing approval of others. If God has told you to do something, you need to obey God. If you don't obey God, guess what? That's disobedience. Even when there's a delay in your obedience, it's still a disobedience. So those are things that we have to give up when we're talking about this shift in this mindset. We have to obey God. Yes. And trust me, God is going to test your obedience. Another thing, we have to stop doubting God's plans for our life. God has a plan for your life. And those are part of the mindset. That was part of the shifting. And that's the same thing when God was telling Abraham in Genesis 12 to leave your kinfolks, to leave your land, to go to somewhere else. I want you to go. We are going to be challenged to do things that we're not used to doing. Are you ready for a change in your mindset? We must shift with the move of God. We must shift when God said move. A shift is a change. A shift is a move. A shift is to modify. We have to obey God. And as we obey God, the blessings that you're looking for, the things that you are desiring, God can give to you. But we must move when God says move. And we have to realize impossible, the word impossible, it isn't in God's vocabulary. So there's nothing that you cannot do. And so if it's not in God's vocabulary, it shouldn't be in your vocabulary. The God of the possible, the God of no limits, has a plan for your life. And we have to realize God has a plan for me, and there's nothing nobody can do about it. The only person who can do something about it is you and me. And as I begin to move with God, God is going to move on my behalf the same way he did with David and Goliath. So what you're seeing today, this big Goliath, it's not big in God, I say, and it's nothing impossible because God has a plan for it. We just have to ask God for the strategy. And God gave Goliath the strategy to fight Goliath. So we have to depend totally on God. And I just want to say, my prayer for you today is that God help us to stay focused on the truth. God help us to give thanks in all things. God help us to choose joy over anger and over anything that's going on in our life. God help us to trust you, to trust your power instead of our plans. So we have a plan, but God wants us to totally trust in his plans. My last prayer for us today is that God help us to elevate his name. It don't have anything to do with us, but we want to elevate God's name. We want God to get the glory. And so as God begins to get the glory in our life, our mindset is going to change. The way you believe in yourself is going to change. You're going to become more positive, and you will enjoy life. I want to say thank you for watching. Please share Direction for Life with your family and with your friends. This is Everyday Living. I am here to serve, to guide, to